All right, what's going on, y'all? GoofyRhexxi here. Hope everybody is doing well. And gonna go through a couple of things today. We're gonna be talking about a team build guide here for the Gamma team in the Marvel Strike Force. Gonna go through T4s, ISO 8s, and hopefully, I hope to remember to talk about this. We'll talk about the Red Star priorities for these characters. Like, who should you be putting your promo credits on? Who should you try to upgrade? We'll talk about that as well here in this video. Also want to give sort of like a quick overview, right, of sort of like some of the testing that I've done with this team so far, how well have they performed in certain areas, and then we can kind of go from there. So let's actually start there, right? Like, my overall sort of review on this team so far is that this Gamma team is very strong in Alliance War. The game mode that they are created for, they are dominant there. I've used them to do 200 to 300k punch-ups. Even like with this team, right, as you can see, like, I don't have everybody at G16. Some character, a lot of these characters aren't even level 85 yet, or eventually where I want to get them to level 90, right? And they were able to do 200 to 300k punch-ups in Alliance War. I tried this team out in the Biodoom raids. It didn't do very well. Also, baby Gamma team. So keep that in perspective here. As we probably build them up a little bit higher, we'll test them out then. Since we are doing some higher difficulties right now in Doom 3 raids, we'll test them out then, and then we'll be able to make an assessment. But I've gotten some other feedback, and I've heard that they're just not a very good bio raid team. But that's fine. They weren't meant to be a bio raid team, although because we have to build them up so high, we were hoping that they would be. I think at best they might be like a one node type of team, where you can probably use them there, but that's probably going to be it. In Cosmic Crucible, though, very good there. In Room 5, they're very good. In Room 5, the biological treatment, I think that's what it's called, room. But then I've also tested out Red Hulk in Arena. There's a video on my channel where I have done that, so you guys should take a look at that video. Pretty interesting matchup there. And I want to say, like, a Red Hulk probably in Arena is probably not going to be very good on defense. I think there's a lot of ways to get around him there, but I think offensively, if you team him up with like Morgan, Rogue, Emma, I think that, and probably even Spider Weaver, I think that you might be able to get some pretty good solid usage out of him there offensively in the arena, but we're going to test that out a little bit more. I think this team is probably going to be able to also auto dorm hold eventually. I think they're probably going to be able to auto dorm hold once Red Hulk gets his stars and red stars after the event is concluded. I think that you're probably going to be able to auto that team. But let's dive into talking about T4s here, ISO 8. I want to say for ISO 8s, I don't think anybody has this fully locked in, right? I think that's going to be subject to change. So my recommendation right now is to get them to ISO Blue 3, but don't take anybody to ISO Blue 4 as of yet. And if you're a crazy ISO Blue 4, don't take anybody to ISO Blue 4 yet. Wait until that information, until we're locked in those ISOs. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry, we had to get the kids ready for school, and we're just getting back now, settled in. So we're gonna kind of dive right into talking about the T4s first, and then we'll talk about the ISO 8s and then the Red Star sort of priorities that will go in here. So let's first start off with She-Hulk here. In terms of T4s, passive ability is really kind of the only thing I think that you need on her. With a passive, you're getting an additional, so she gets higher increased health. We can actually pull it up here in MSF.gg and talk about it really quickly, just to kind of give you an idea as to what she's getting. But the passive is the only one that I would definitely put on her here. Everything else seems very luxury. So with the passive, unturned heal plus 5% of this character's max health, on max charge, 20% damage to all targets. And then in war, she gives an extra 10% damage here to herself, and then also Gamma allies. Any other T4, it's additional damage, but I don't really think that you need to do it with her. Like, if you're looking at T4s and just the cost of T4s, the extra 60% damage here for the ultimate, not worth it in my opinion. You could make a case that with her special, you could probably do this because it does give an extra 10% heal to herself. But being that on turn she heals herself, well, she's going to be healing herself at 15% health anyways. I don't really think that you need this or need that for the additional healing. And then basic, I think that that's one that you can skip as well, although you could make a case for it depending on what ISO you're putting on her. The extra 60% damage, I don't think you really need that T4 at all. All right, and then the next character here in terms of T4s, for Abomination, I think all three of these are good. So passive, ultimate ability, and then the special. With his passive, I believe that he's given extra, I think, well, from what I can remember, we'll pull it up right now and talk about it, but for Abomination, his passive is given an extra drain to Gamma allies. 20% drain for himself, and then his Gamma allies, he gets an additional 10% healing whenever he takes a turn. And then on his turn, he'll flip one random positive effect on all enemies with any positive effect. So obviously there's going to be a focus check on that too, but that's still a pretty good T4 I would consider. Ultimate ability here, you're getting the extra 150% piercing damage to the primary target. So I always like piercing damage because that bypasses armor. So I think that's a pretty good one. And then you're guaranteeing that you're going to land the stun on the primary target, right? So before it's like 50% chance, with the T4, you're getting a guaranteed chance there. And then with the special ability, this is an AoE attack, so attacking all enemies here for X piercing damage. You're getting an increased 40% damage piercing to all enemies. You're also clearing defense up from all targets, so you don't have that unless you T4 it. And you're getting the increased 50% crit chance, which brings this up to 100% crit chance. So I like that ability for that as well. So 100% chance to crit on this attack here. I like it. You're going to be able to throw out a lot of vulnerables if you have the Raider ISO on them. So I like that one for that reason. And then basic, while it's damage to primary and secondary targets, I don't think that you need this one. I think this is one that you probably skip as well. Once again, T4s, the cost of them, I don't think you need that one per se. And then Red Hulk, right? So I think all of Red Hulk's T4s are actually pretty good. I haven't done all of them as of yet, but I'm not fully done building this team, right? So once we're done getting everybody to G16, we will be T4 in that basic ability here. But some of these you kind of just have to do them, right? There's really no way to kind of get around doing them. You're kind of going to need a lot of them. Only one that you could probably skip is maybe his basic, but like passive ability, right? You're getting a 10% healing for himself. At the end of any turn, when this character has 5 or more charges, fill this character's speed bar by 50%. You want this to happen. Like, you want him to get that extra speed bar fill. And this can only trigger once per match and only once per war. That's additional there. You definitely want that one. The ultimate ability, yes, 80% damage to all enemies. This is a full, this is attacking all enemies, 170% damage. So if you do this, that's 80%. What's that? 450, right? I hate math, but I think that's 150% damage to all targets. And then you're getting this. You're always clearing all battlefield effects on the enemy side and applying the battlefield effect gamma radiation. Like, that's, to me, is a no-brainer. Special ability here, you don't have to do this one, but this one is definitely a good one too, right? So if you T4 this, it's an extra 80% damage to the primary and adjacent targets. You're reducing the speed bar by 10% on primary and adjacent targets. So he does this attack multiple times, right? So he does this here, primary and adjacent targets one time, then he repeats its attack an additional time, which means that the extra boosted damage is going to happen a second time. And then in war, you're repeating this attack 2 additional times, right? So yeah, I mean, you're going to be reducing the speed bar by 10% 3 times to primary and adjacent targets. Absolutely, this is a good T4 to throw into him. And then basic kind of follows the same principle to a certain extent. Attack the primary target for 200% damage, flipping one positive effect to a negative effect, repeat this attack 1 additional time. The increased damage that you get from this here, you're going to be doing this at least twice. In war, you're going to do this 3 times. And each time that you do it, of course, you're getting the added bonus of the flipping one positive effect to a negative effect. And then even this too, like when this character performs a counter attack or assist, or has 5 or more charges, that counter attack or assist gets 100% damage. So you're also getting that with the bonus attack too here. So when this character has 5 or more charges, gain 100% damage and flip 1 additional positive effect to a negative effect. So definitely, I think a good way to go in here, depending on what ISO you want to throw on Red Hulk, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on, right? And then let's jump right now into talking about Brawn. So I think Brawn, in terms of T4s, these 3 are also pretty good too. I would definitely skip the basic on them. Passive ability, I believe, gives extra resistance, and also I think he gets immunity and safeguard, I believe, depending on whether, and we'll pull it up and we'll talk about it, right? I can't remember all the stuff off the top of my head. Can you? So yeah, with the passive T4 here, 100% resistance increase for self and gamma allies in war on spawn. That's where it is. If Hulk is an ally, gains safeguard and immunity. I like it. Ultimate ability here, if you T4 this, you definitely will want to. You're getting an extra 20% health steal. So before it was only 15%. The ultimate makes it a 35% health steal. Now you're also redistributing plus 200% health. Before you were only distributing 300%. Now it's going to go to 500, and then you're getting the immunity to self and all gamma allies. This right here has been huge for my Scourge run. Using the Gamma team in the first 2 nodes for Red Hulk Scourge has been really big. So I actually really like that T4. And then special ability, 40% damage to the primary and adjacent targets, but then you're copying and clearing all positive effects. Before it was only 3. You may make a case that, hey, you might not need more than 3. So I can see why you may want to skip that. But then here you can't spread all positive effects. So you want to do it for that, right? Like you want all the positive effects that he gets and that he has, you want to be able to spread all of those. What if you have 4 of them that you want to spread, and no, you're only able to spread 3 because you haven't C4'd it? You're going to want that one. And then basic is just additional damage. I think that's skipping right there. You don't really need that one. And then let's talk about Hulk. So I like 2 of them I did so far, and I'll show you which are the 2 that I've done. And then we'll talk about another one that you could probably do on him here. So for Hulk, I have a T4 on his passive. I have a T4 on his special. You could make a case that his ultimate could also get a tier 4, but I'll talk about the reason why I didn't do that one. So passive ability here, if you T4 this, you're getting the increased speed bar fill 25% when this character drops below 50% health. I want that to get, so before it's only like 75%, I want the 100% speed bar fill for sure, right? That's gonna give me, yeah, I definitely want the speed bar fill there. Fill speed bar by 5% when an enemy attacks, plus 5% when an enemy attacks a Gamma or Wave 1 Avenger. So before, I think it was just a, does it do it if you don't have the tier 4 on them? When an enemy attacks a Gamma or Wave 1, so you're in the 10% speed bar fill. So this just gives you an additional 5%, so it goes to 15. Either way, I still think it's nice to have that additional there. You do want Hulk to take a lot of turns here. He does do a lot of good damage, so I do think that you're gonna want to have that tier 4 on him for sure. Ultimate, okay, let's talk about the one that I did. The special, I did this one because it gives me an increased 100% damage, and then it also clears all negative effects from self. I think the clearing negative effects is going to be really important. Any extra 100% damage is also going to be pretty impactful too. He does a lot of, with this special ability here, if done right, you'll be able, when he has offense up, you're going to be able to do 500% damage just so there's 400% damage. I like it. It's been one of the reasons why my bio nodes have been so easy in the Red Hulk Scourge. It's also going to be very helpful going up against Dormhole, Darkhold teams. So yeah, in the context of that, I do like the extra 100% damage, especially if he also has offense up as well. Definitely could be really good for you to be able to use this ability. And then special, and then basic, I skipped this basic here. It's an extra 50% damage to the primary target. You get a plus 10 if this character is below 50%, or as charged, you get an increased damage there. I don't think you need it. It's more of a luxury tier 4 in my opinion. Now, the ultimate ability, the reason why I didn't really do this one is because the extra 70% damage that you get is just to adjacent enemies. It's not given the extra 70% to the primary target, right? So while being able to get the additional damage to the adjacent targets could be nice, based on the fact that this, I don't know, I just don't really think I want to spend my coveted tier 4s on this as of yet. I don't think I will need it. I could definitely see why people would want to do it for sure, but I'm just gonna think about, I'm like, okay, well, it's just the adjacent, it's not boosting the primary. I really probably want to care, I'm really gonna care more about the primary target, and I'm gonna care about the secondary targets anyways. It would be nice to get that extra boost there, but I just want to be able to save my tier 4s for things that I feel like I have to do or I need to do, as opposed to this, which kind of feels very luxury to me, in my personal opinion, right? That's kind of my thoughts on that. I'm also already getting additional boosted damage as well elsewhere, so I feel like I'll be okay where that's concerned. All right, so that's it on T4. Let's talk about ISO 8s really quickly. So this is what I'm currently running right now on the team. I have Striker on She-Hulk, I have Raider on Abomination, Raider on Red Hulk, Brawn I have Skirmisher, and in Hulk I have Striker. So for She-Hulk, I originally thought about putting Skirmisher on her because of her passive ability here, where I wanted to make sure that this would happen. So like on maximum charges, she transfers all negative effects from self, each Gamma ally, and each Fantastic Four ally to the enemy with the most damage. So I originally thought that this was going to be a little bit of an issue here, and it might still be, right? But the way I thought about this, I'm like, well, in war, she gains an extra 500% focus for this action. I'm going to kind of bank on the fact that when I get my She-Hulk up to level 85 or level 90, tier 16, that we're probably going to be okay with that, and that extra 500% focus is going to be enough. Now, her focus right now is 11k. I would ideally like that to be higher, but I think once I probably get the right investment, I think that that's going to be okay where that is concerned for that attack. So I wanted to lean more into the striker because she also does apply defense down whenever she does a striker attack. And looking at, she's slow, so most likely in a matchup, I'm only going to use her ultimate and her special. I'm barely probably going to use her basic. If I can then take advantage of some vulnerables there by doing this attack, attacking a primary target 300%, applying stun, and then getting an additional striker bonus attack, I could definitely get some additional damage from that. Same thing with the special ability here too, attacking, reducing speed bar, and then getting her to do the striker bonus attack on top of that, and then also applying defense down. I think that goes a long way for us to being able to clean up a particular target. So that's the reason why I lean into the She-Hulk and striker here, additional buffs, but then also just additional attack and damage to take advantage, because Shield actually does pretty good damage. So I like the striker bonus attack on her. Abomination, I went with Raider primarily because of his special ability here. Attacking all enemies for 250% piercing, clearing defense up, applying offense down for 2 turns and defense down for 2 turns. He gains an extra 100% extra focus against targets with defense down, but then also this right here, that 100% crit chance against targets with defense down or defense up, right? So in my opinion, I'm like, okay, well, if he's gonna have the guaranteed chance of critting, that's a guaranteed chance of landing vulnerables on all of these targets. I want to be able to take advantage of that. Obviously, of course, you're going to have to time this, plan out this attack wisely, right? You're going to need them to have defense down or defense up. You're going to need the right targets to have that, or all the targets to have that. So you're going to have to plan out this attack correctly. But at the same time, I like the idea here of being able to apply those vulnerables. So that's the reason why I went with a Raider on Abomination. He also does have another multi-target hit too, as basic attack. Attacks the primary target and then also chains to an additional target too. He also is going to be the second character that's going to go on this team. So there's Red Hulk, which is 133 speed. Then you have Abomination, I think is 121 or 122. So he's in, 121. So he's going to be the second character to go. So being able to get throwing out some vulnerables out there and then having some characters on the back end take advantage of those vulnerables, I think would be really helpful. Now, Red Hulk is a question mark for a lot of players, and still for me too, right? Like, there's 2 different ISOs that you can go with Red Hulk on. There's Striker and then there's Raider, right? And a lot of people are probably going to lead into Striker. I think I'm initially going to lead into Raider, and I'm going to simplify it just not to make overcomplicate things, right? So Red Hulk goes first. He's most likely going to do his special attack. This attack, as we talked about already in War, it repeats this attack 2 additional times, and it hits primary and it also hits adjacent targets. So the way I thought about it, I'm like, okay, well, since he's going first in terms of the order of operations with the team, I would like for him to be able to throw out some vulnerables on 2 or 3 characters, then have Abomination come back and throw vulnerables out on some additional characters there, and then having She-Hulk and Hulk take care of on the back end with Striker doing some bonus attacks and getting some bonus damage here. So those are my thoughts on the reason why I wanted to lean into that. He also has a lot of multi-target hits. His ultimate ability is all enemies. So with the Raider ISO, you're going to be able to land a lot of vulnerables there as well. You're also thinking of the context with him in the Legendary Horseman team. It's like, it's going to be, Morgan's going to be a striker, right? Rogue is going to be a striker. Is Red Hulk also going to be a striker too? Like, at some point, somebody got to take advantage of the vulnerables, right? So, or there has to be vulnerables to put out there for characters to take advantage of. So I think Red Hulk is a good character there. He's also faster than Morgan and also Rogue. So you are going to get that. You're going to get him to be able to go first and throw out those vulnerables, and then have Morgan and Rogue take care of that on the back end. Same idea here with his team. He's going to be able to throw out those vulnerables first, have She-Hulk and then Hulk take advantage of that. I think that's the direction that I'm going to be leaning into. Although you could make a case for Striker, and I understand that. So with this basic attack, with all the stuff that you're getting here, the multi-target, you're good. Like, this could hit 4 times, right, in War, right? So you're attacking one time, then in war you're repeating this attack 2 additional times. In war, if the target has a vulnerable, he's gonna attack for a 4th additional time. So there's 4 attacks on one character. I could definitely see why people will want to lean into that. Me personally, I am not, for the reasons that I just talked about. That's the direction that I'm going to be going in here. All right, that's it on Red Hulk. Next, Brawn. I just have a baby Brawn, so I'm going with Skirmisher on him right now. I originally thought about Striker on him, once again for the additional buffs with the basic, right? Because on a bonus attack, you can apply offense down. Kind of the same similar idea here with She-Hulk. On her bonus attack, she can apply defense down. Here's my thing, like, Brawn lacks a lot of focus, and there's not really a lot of ways that he gets increased focus. Now, granted, my focus on him is low right now because he's set 75 and 14, but it's also really because I have a 4 and 3 Brawn. A lot of us are only going to have 3-star Brawns, right? So how is that going to bode well going into Dormhole teams? Are you going to be able to copy and clear those positive effects with his special ability? And I don't know if that's going to work. So I'm leaning into Skirmisher with him right now to make sure that I give myself a higher opportunity to be able to clear all those positive effects off the primary and adjacent targets. And then also potentially being able to actually land this offense down whenever he does his basic attack as well. And then of course, in the order of operations, it's Red Hulk, then it's Abomination, then it's Brawn. Once again, being able to throw out some additional vulnerables out there for She-Hulk, and then also for Hulk to take advantage of. That is kind of the direction that I'm going in with Brawn. That's the reason why I have him there. This may change. If I get a 6-star yellow Brawn at some point in time, which highly unlikely, then maybe I'll change it to a Striker. But then it's like, how many Strikers are you going to have on this team, right? And then Hulk. So I've kind of gone back and forth with Hulk multiple times. I'm like, I want Healer on him because I want him to continue to go under 50% health and then speed up and then be able to heal above that. And then continue to kind of go back and forth. That has not happened. When I threw the Healer ISO on him, it has not happened. I found that actually it's preventing him from going under 50% health to gain the speed bar to then gain the offense up. Like, it's actually negated what I'm trying to do with him, which is also the reason why I've also went against the idea of putting higher red stars on Hulk as well. I don't want 6 red stars on him right now because I want to be able to get him to go under 50% health, gain offense up, and of course that then enhances his damage, right? The Striker bonus attack. So when he has offense up, whatever counters he's doing, whenever he does an attack and then is doing an additional bonus attack, he can have offense up when he's doing it. So I find with Striker, it's better, it's more opportunity where he is actually this is through testing where I've seen him go under 50% more often than when he does actually have the Healer ISO on him. So therefore the benefit I think I'm going to want to lead into Striker with Hulk, and that's kind of what I'm leaving it as right now. And like I said, maybe in the future we'll make some changes there. In terms of red star priorities on this team, I'm going to say probably like Abomination. Well, obviously Red Hulk, Dark promotion credits. Yes, you're going to want to put a red stars on Red Hulk, right? That's obvious. But from like other like silver promotion credits, gold promotion credits, like who would you lean into here? I would say if I were to rank it, I would probably go with at least getting 5 reds first on Hulk, because Hulk is going to be really a lot of your big damage alongside Red Hulk. That's really going to get a lot of that. And She-Hulk, don't sleep on She-Hulk as well. She actually does do a lot of damage too. At least mine has so far. Like I've used in some of the Dormhole matches that I've used She-Hulk, and her damage is surprised the crap out of me, right? Like that's the reason why I like Striker on her, because if she does this attack, 300% damage there, or if she does this attack here, reducing the speed bar, I watch her delete Doctor Strange Heartless with her special. And of course, like, you got to keep in mind too, like, she had offense up on her because there was a transfer of positive effects that went over to She-Hulk. So that on top of the hit, on top of the Striker bonus attack, and don't sleep on She-Hulk. She does pretty well. But I digress. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about red star priorities, right? So I would say Hulk would probably be the first one that I would go with. Get your 5 reds on him. Maybe do 6, but just be careful and understand that you may not get below 50% and gain that offense up as often as you want him to. Then I would probably lean into Abomination as a character to throw your red stars on. Braun for focus reasons, and then probably She-Hulk is the direction I would go. I think in a lot of ways, She-Hulk is probably going to be the last character that a lot of people invest into, even to G16, just because of the cost anyway. So that's something to think about, because she's 90 pieces, 90 mini uniques. So that definitely is going to be a factor there. So that's it for me, guys. Wow, that was a long video, right? If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Leave it in the comments. I know I went through this very, very quickly out of the perspective of not wanting to make it a 35-minute video. So of course, if you want me to go into more detail about any of the selections that I've picked, you let me know. I'm happy to discuss that and talk about that with you here. But having a lot of fun with the team so far. Looking forward. Hopefully the next week or two, I'll have them all at gear tier 16. Well, probably She-Hulk at gear tier 15 because of this cost, but I'll have everybody else at gear tier 16. Be having some fun with them here in Cosmic Crucible, Alliance War. They're really fun. This for me is going to be my fun project to work on as we move forward here. And then eventually we'll get to Limited X-Men, right, for Saga. All right, guys, listen, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel here. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. And until next time, guys, you all be blessed. Y'all be safe.